Greetings and welcome to Kyber Academy. I'm your host Jordan, and we're here to provide you with quality information and guides to Star Wars Battlefront 2's various hero modes. Today, we'll be discussing Teamplay fundamentals. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you see every new video we release. And be sure to leave a comment letting us know what you'd like to see covered in future videos. And if you're a PlayStation owner, consider joining our team at the Kyber Academy community. There, you'll be able to find helpful and friendly players, as well as meet some of the people that make this series possible. With that being said, let's get started. In modes like Galactic Assault and Supremacy, a skilled player with a hero character is basically a one-man army, able to annihilate entire enemy teams on their own. In Heroes vs. Villains, however, that approach will likely lead to a swift defeat. This is one of the most common mistakes that I see players make, and it stems from an overall lack of teamwork. In this video, we want to explain the methods we here at Kyber Academy use to lead our team to victory. The first step to building a team is to find a small group of players that are willing to work together and play consistently. Make a group chat, adding players that are compatible with your team along the way. When playing with or against a random player that really sticks out, message them a few words of praise or kindness, and invite them to join your group. Before you know it, you'll have a team of players that you can now game with regularly. There are also many online communities for players both old and new that you can join to quickly find groups to play with. In any cooperative activity, clear and direct communication is what separates good teams from the bad ones, and the best way to communicate with your team is through voice chat. Before starting a match, make sure that you're in a private voice channel with only the people that you'll be playing with. This will make sure that there's no distracting chatter from unrelated activities, allowing your team to focus on the match. Make sure that everyone on your team has a mic, as even having just one player that is unable to quickly communicate will decrease your chances of success. Keep your communication focused on the match itself, and call out enemy movements and locations when beneficial. You also want to be specific when requesting assistance. It is not helpful to yourself or anyone else to scream, "I need help!" at the top of your lungs. Instead, calmly inform your team that your character is under attack by Boba Fett and Darth Maul in the hangar on top of the ship. That communicates all the information that they need to locate and assist you. All the communication in the world means nothing if players can't coordinate. Simply knowing that there are two players hiding around a corner won't stop them from hurling you off the ledge if you run in guns blazing. Instead of running in blindly, work with your team to come up with a strategy to solve the problem. Maybe have a player time a stun effect and allow your team to move in without taking damage. Sniper with the high ground giving you trouble? Have a player distract them while the other one closes into melee range. Grievous won't stop walking on your face? Send in Rey to mind trick him, making his claw rush all but useless. I could list a million more hypothetical scenarios, but the lesson here is to work with your team to capitalize on each other's strengths while exploiting enemy weaknesses. When playing with a team, it is important to maintain a calm and respectful atmosphere. This may seem unrelated or even unimportant, but I can assure you that it is anything but. This leads to a team that will trust each other and work together easily. When looking for potential groups of players, prioritize attitude over sheer skill. It is much easier to turn a good teammate into a good player than it is to turn a disrespectful tryhard into a team player. Your attitude going into the match will also help set the tone for the entire group, for better or worse. If you come into the game with a positive attitude, other people will feel that and be happy to play with you. This group demeanor is easy to maintain when you're doing well, but most important when you're not. It is all too easy to slip into a negative mood, which can be very infectious. Before you realize it, your whole team is upset and nobody is having fun. If you catch yourself or a teammate getting upset, take a 10-minute break and let everyone mentally reset, and head into the next match with a better outlook. If the problem persists, call it a day and move on to something else. Personally, I find that jumping into co-op and choking the life out of some rebel scum to be very cathartic. Now, with all that being said, let's shift our focus back to in-game mechanics and strategies with some general team play tips. Learn your team's strengths and weaknesses. It is important to know what your teammates are capable of. Even though you have access to the same selection of characters, no two people are going to play every single hero the same way. Some players may be better at lightsaber combat, while others are more comfortable with blaster heroes. Knowing each of your teammates' skills will help when discussing different strategies and plays. Learn multiple characters. We've discussed this tip before, but for different reasons. You'll want to become skilled with as many different heroes as possible so that you can better support your team. Another reason to learn multiple characters is that you may have a hard time finding a steady group of players if you refuse to play with anyone but your favorite hero. Just because a character might be your best doesn't mean that they're always the right choice, or that you're the best person to be playing them. Maybe give someone else a chance to use them, and start learning other heroes to round out your skills. Respect the enemy team. With Battlefront 2 having recently picked up a bunch of new players, it is important to remember that many of the enemies you encounter may just be learning the game. If you see yourself facing down a group of low-level heroes, resist the urge to go all Order 66 on them. At best, you make them leave the match early. At worst, you scare them away from the game entirely, or steer them into becoming a merciless and toxic player. This game has enough tryhards as it is, without any help from us. Instead, maybe pick a character that you're not as good with, or ease off the gas a little bit and try and seek out some one-on-one fights. This can actually lead to an entire lobby chilling out and just taking turns fighting. These have been some of my favorite matches by far, and happen more often than one might think. In fact, many of the people I play with now I met by sending messages to the enemy team after just such a match. It goes to show that a respectful enemy can become a staunch ally. Dueling in Showdown. Hero Showdown brings with it a slightly different mindset than any other game mode. Each round, you only have one life and are pitted with a partner against an enemy team. Many players, myself included, prefer to split off and fight an opponent one-on-one. After an opponent has been defeated, it's respectful to let the other pair finish their fight. If your ally is a victor, then simply move on to the next round. If instead the enemy defeats your ally, then it's your turn to fight. This all sounds great in theory, but in practice you can rarely tell who will follow this etiquette and for how long. Therefore, it is up to you and your partner to set the tone for the match. Sometimes the enemy team just doesn't get it or doesn't care. If that's the case, look at it as an opportunity to improve your skills. Fighting two opponents at once can be challenging, but greatly rewarding. Practice against your team. A great way to sharpen your team's skills is to go head-to-head. By dividing your team into two groups, it is possible to play Heroes Showdown and Heroes vs. Villains against each other. Having the ability to play against your team will allow you to develop different strategies, experiment with power interactions, and practice your core mechanics as well as dueling skills. Not to mention, it's a fun way to spend some time with your friends. Check out the description below for detailed instructions on how to match up with your team. If you've watched all 5 of our videos up to this point, then congratulations! You've just graduated from Kyber Academy. Thank you so much to everyone who has helped us make these videos, and to all of you who've watched. Going forward, our videos are going to start to look a little bit different. We plan on focusing on specific hero pairings and team compositions, as well as individual character breakdowns and tips for how to best utilize them in hero combat game modes. Community feedback will be the biggest factor deciding what heroes we cover next, so if there's a character you want a closer look at, or want to see how to best combine certain heroes, let us know in the comments what you want to see. This has been Jordan from Kyber Academy, and may the Force be with you.
Have you no strategy at all?
Right there! I won't let you.